I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer, Dr. Mama Bear, coming to you live on hot. It's hot down here. Headaches and health resolution. Health restored. Health restored, health resolution. They both sound good. You guys can let me know where you're coming from. And I want to talk about the heat. So the heat index here in Florida, yesterday was 105 degrees. I think the actual temperature was 92, but the heat index was 105. I had to drop off my car for service, and I use a locally owned auto mechanic guys there do great work, great job. And I'll walk from my office. I'll walk from the mechanic's office back to my office, and it's very convenient. But it was near rush hour, and traffic was really bad. And I don't like to play leapfrog. Some of you guys know what that means, leapfrog through the traffic. And so I walked to the light, which is a couple blocks down and around to the office so I could go across the crosswalk. And the amount of heat that was coming off the asphalt was ridiculous. If I had an egg and cracked it on the street, definitely could serve up some sunny side up eggs. It was that hot. Now, what's the deal with the heat? There's the debate, and you guys can put in the chat, what do you prefer? Do you prefer moist humidity like we have in Florida, although yesterday felt more like dry heat, or do you prefer like the dry heat of Arizona? And so I did a residency in Arizona, and unfortunately that residency was in the middle of summer. I think I arrived in Phoenix, Arizona in June, and not really understanding how truly hot it is. I was looking up temperatures, and their temperature is like 100 and something and feels like 110. Like, that's just craziness. And so with the dry heat, the problem is that your sweat and your moisture just goes away. Now, humidity here in Florida, you sweat and you're like dripping wet, and your face is wet, and your clothes are moist. and the good thing is, at least you're sweating. In dry heat like Arizona, you would sweat and you wouldn't even know because it just got wicked away. Or I remember jumping into the pool and then coming out, and my bathing suit would dry. I remember how fast my bathing suit would dry. I remember how fast my hair would dry. Growing up in Miami, I would jump in the pool and your hair will be wet the rest of the day, and your bathing suit will be wet the rest of the day. And so the dry heat, whether you live in a dry heat climate, and you can write what you prefer, or you live in humidity right now with the heat index, it is very, very important that you're consuming electrolytes. So what are electrolytes? When my daughter was a toddler, she used to call them electric lights. And it was the cutest thing ever. She's like, "Mommy, do we have any electric lights?" It was very, very cute. And she already did a cameo because she just popped her little head in here.
I still do it.
And you still pop your head in.
No, I meant say electric lights.
You still say electric lights. And so this is spring water that I really like. It's called Mountain Valley. And spring water has minerals in it. And you need minerals for body function. You also need sodium and potassium for the health of the cell. And so in the bottom of here, which I've been consuming this throughout the day, is the remainder of my electric lights or my electrolytes that are necessary for cell function. So there's some belief that people think that sodium is bad for you. People think that potassium is, maybe not as needed. And so sodium can, doctors will say, like, you need to lower your sodium consumption. And so people will start to decrease their salt intake. Now, there's table salt, and then there is sea salt. So sea salt actually has minerals that you need, that your body needs for physiology, your body needs for functions in the body, and also can help cool you, right? So if you ever, went for a run, or you played sports and you went like this and it felt like sand, either you fell face first in the sand, or you might be a salty sweater. So some people, when they lose hydration, they're salty sweaters. I'm a salty sweater. I could go like this and like salt, right? And then some people are more high potassium sweaters. And so we need to replace the salt with the potassium. And when you have adequate salt, when you have adequate potassium, the body can cool properly and cell function can happen. When you don't have enough salt in the body, you will get overheated. So unfortunately, there's some people that they don't put salt on anything. They don't use sea salt. They are severely dehydrated. And then they just walk across the parking lot, and it's so hot right now, whether you're living in a dry heat atmosphere or a humid heat atmosphere, and they have signs of heat problems, right? So maybe they have headaches. Maybe they have nausea. Maybe they lost their appetite. Maybe they're like extremely exhausted, and it can escalate as far as fainting. It can escalate as vomiting, and it can escalate. A sign of heat illness can be even diarrhea, passing out, loss of consciousness, and at its worst level, death. Right, and so super important to be consuming good quality water, consuming good quality electrolytes. We really like the trace minerals electrolytes, and that will help to put the good salt,
Watermelon flavor.
good potassium, the good magnesium into your system. Leah's favorite is the watermelon flavor.
You can't stop drinking it.
I actually love that as well. We currently in the office have a guava passion fruit, so that's what that one is. That one's pretty good too. But I must say, trace minerals, watermelon's really good. You could make popsicles. So if you're having trouble keeping your kids hydrated,
I've tried it before, and all the powder goes to the top.
Yeah, you can.
Or the bottom.
Well, you got to mix it up very well.
I did.
Okay, and then you can make popsicles. You can make slushies. You can make I don't know, make whatever shakes. You can put ice and make it into a smoothie. And so this is very helpful thing. So then getting electrolytes in the body, staying hydrated is very important in the heat, because if you don't stay hydrated, then you could get a headache. And so after walking from the mechanic yesterday, I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm getting a headache. I kind of feel really exhausted. And so I made sure that I consumed some electrolytes. And then when I got home for the day, I stayed in air conditioning and rested a little bit because I felt extremely exhausted. And I was wondering what happened. And so in some cases, you might even have to take sea salt tablets. In some cases, you might need to sip on water. In some cases, you might need to do things to help handle the heat. Now, I don't recommend going to the theme parks right now. Because it is incredibly hot. I can't even imagine walking around them right now. Those of you that are traveling to Orlando, I can't imagine how hot it is walking around those parks. Now, they do have misters that help. You can get portable fans that can help, but the amount of heat, it just sounds like torture to me. But if you are having problems with the heat, there could be a physiological reason for that. There could be something in your system that's not quite working very well. There's a gland in front of the neck, and it is called the thyroid gland. It looks like a bow tie. And that thyroid gland, one of its functions is to help you regulate temperature. In patients that we work with that their thyroid is not working properly, and what does that look like? It could look like weight gain. It could look like weight loss. It could look like premenstrual syndrome. It could look like menopausal symptoms, because both of those should not be occurring. It could look like fatigue. It could be looking like hair loss, all of those things. And then the one thing on this topic I wanted to talk about, it could be that you're very sensitive to changes in temperature. And so early on, I had issues with my thyroid gland. Really had issues with the master gland, which is the pituitary gland. And so the pituitary gland is the master of the endocrine system. And my pituitary gland wasn't functioning well. So for me, what that looked like, it looked like a puffy face. It looked like weight gain. It looked like my hair falling out. It looked like extra weight on my frame. It just wasn't good. And then we determined it was due to a heavy metal, and the heavy metal was mercury. And because my pituitary gland wasn't functioning properly, that then in turn affected my thyroid. And so back then, if it was hot in the summer, I wanted the air on, but then if the air was on too high, then I was cold. And so it was like this very thin margin of me being comfortable. So it was either too hot or too cold. I felt like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where she's complaining about the porridge being too hot or too cold, and the bed was too hard or too soft. Well, temperature for me, it was either too hot and I was like very extremely uncomfortable and feeling overheated, or in the cold, it was so cold I couldn't get warm. And so that could be a sign of thyroid dysfunction. And what we do at our office, Palmer Natural Health, is we use a technology called quantum nutrition testing. And in quantum nutrition testing, we look for the cause of the problem. We look for what happened to the imbalance. Why are the thyroid hormones not balanced? Why is the blood work imbalanced? What is the cause? And instead of doing something to change the blood work as far as giving a hormone, giving thyroid hormone, or giving a bioidentical hormone, or giving a medication, we look for how can we rebalance the body naturally. And if we can figure out how to rebalance the body naturally, that's really good. And how do we do that? We do that with specific nutrients that can help the thyroid gland heal, specific nutrients that may help the pituitary gland heal, specific nutrients, specific products to detox out what could be causing the problem. So for me, I had heavy metal toxicity. I had mercury negatively affecting my pituitary gland. And that negative effect on the pituitary gland caused those symptoms in me. And by using specific holistic physician grade supplementation, was able to detox the mercury out. Now, if this is mercury, your body's so smart, it tries to protect you from it by putting it in fat tissue. So I was playing soccer, I was working out, I was eating decently, and I kept gaining weight because my body's like, no, 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 we don't want the mercury to come out of the fat tissue because it's going to circulate around your body, kind of like sprinkling glitter in the carpet. It would be very, very hard to, if you spilled glitter all over the carpet, and believe it, my daughter has done that. It is extremely difficult to get glitter out of the carpet. When you have heavy metals in the body and they're scattered all over the place, and then you do something that causes a severe detox reaction, maybe like a chelation, that's kind of like sprinkling glitter all over your body. And so instead, we prefer the detox channel, the bowel being the detox channel. And so the body will let that come out of the fat tissue, and then the body will discard of those toxins in poop, in fecal material, right? That's better than having it circulate all over the body. We definitely don't want it to go through the kidneys either. We don't want heavy metal toxicity irritating the kidneys. And so if you are looking for your health to be restored, if you're looking for answers on why you can't tolerate the heat, or why you have headaches, or why you have female hormone problems, or why you feel tired all the time, then I encourage you to reach out to us at Palmer Natural Health. What we'll do is we'll do a consult. We'll send you some paperwork. We'll do a consultation with you where for 30 minutes at the office, or if you're not in the area, on the phone, we'll ask you health-related questions. We'll gather all of this data. We'll then take the data, we'll test it to see where do we start with you, right? There's a lot of different options. Maybe we start with a heavy metal detox. Maybe we start with a parasite cleanse. Maybe we start and we handle mold illness. Maybe we start to open up the detox pathways. So then if you're constipated, now you'll be able to have regular bowel movements. That's important in regaining your health. Maybe we'll start with rebalancing female health naturally. Maybe we'll start with just, maybe you eat Cheetos all day and we need to just get some decent food in you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all organic. It doesn't have to be salad, right? But we do have to get some good nutrients in you. So wherever your health journey is, if you're over here eating Cheetos all day, or if you're over here and you do pretty good, but you have some things that are not ideal, we are absolutely happy to help you. I want to wish all of you guys a early happy 4th of July, our independence, celebrating our Independence Day from the British colonies. If you guys can remember your history classes on why we celebrate our independence. And if you want to gain your independence and truly have health freedom, then we're happy to help you at Palmer Natural Health achieve that. I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer, Dr. Mama Bear. Good night, everyone.